my name is Josephine and I'm working for the Saskatchewan Children's Council here in Saskatoon, and today I would like to show you how to make a really pretty Adventskalender house city. And the beautiful thing is you can do, in Germany we celebrate each Sunday before Christmas, so the 4 Sundays before Christmas. So you could have just 4 houses, or you can have 6 houses if you celebrate the Sundays and let's say St. Nicholas Day and of course Christmas Eve. Or you can make all 24 houses, and so it's up to you how much work and effort you want to put into it, but it's a nice decoration. What we usually do, we have those little houses, and of course with that cotton you can hide a tree underneath it. So each day, 24 days before Christmas, you can have in each house a little tree, and then you take out the cotton, you take out the tree and replace it with a candle. And of course please use electric candles, because the real candles in paper houses not a good idea. And so on Christmas Eve you would have 24 lightened houses, and they would sparkle along your windows and celebrate Christmas. And now I show you what you need. You need different colored paper, craft paper. You need tissue paper, also different colors. I like to use a metal ruler because I like to cut out the windows with a sharp knife, and with a sharp knife it's always better to have metal rulers. You need a pair of scissors, you need glue, and of course you need a cutting board because you don't want to cut into your tablecloth. And now I show you how to do it. So, of course, first you have to choose a color, and I decided for today I would like to take orange. And now you have to divide your paper. You need a small strip of this on the side, so you can have a glue strip, and then the rest you just divide into 4 similar spaces. And I already prepared that a little bit. What I also did, with those lines where you fold it, I took the paper knife and I'm cutting a very, very shallow little line down here, so it's easier to fold. And now I can fold the paper without it bending and such, so it's easier for me to have later a nice shape. I also decided already on the design, so I make kind of little bit arches and oval windows, and I want this time steepled roof. So now I have pre-drawn the shapes, and I use my cutting knife to cut out the shapes now, and that takes a little bit of time. And that's why I have also the metal ruler. So make sure that when you have a child helping, either you use a pair of scissors and make sure it's safe, that nobody cuts themselves. Out, and we already have our first door almost done. With circles it's always a little bit tricky, because then of course you cannot use a ruler and it's a little bit more difficult to cut, but shouldn't be a problem. So now for the windows, I cut them out already, and I have a little bit of edge here. just correct them with a pair of scissors a little bit, so it's straight and not showing off later. And so I have the tissue paper, and what I usually prefer, I'd not single little pieces, but a larger piece because it sticks better and it shines through better later. So first I'm going around the circle of whatever cut out and a little bit on those center pieces. And then I just take the tissue paper and place it on top, and also here on top of my windows. And it's so much easier if you just cut out the whole part and then put it on top. Let it dry a little bit, and then you basically also on that edge you put a couple of drops of glue. Take a leftover piece, spread it out so it covers the whole edge, and also it's thin because then it dries easier. And then you just fold it over and make sure it is straight, and then just press it down so it dries nicely. And then you have another little house for your advent calendar. And if you want to, you can write the number of the day on the side of the house. We could have cut it out as well, but cutting out little numbers is a little bit tricky, let's say it this way. So, and if you want to, hide something and put your stuffing on top, and you have your nice little treat in there.